confused about. You want to remind students that you're going from left to right for multiplication or division, and that's before addition and subtraction, but you will also stay in the sequence of left to right as well. Now, I'm going to solve a problem so that you can also see how we're handling solving problems in our everyday activities. Hold on one second. Let me get a clean page. Alright. So I always tell students to write the order of operations on their paper so that they can have almost as a checklist to see if they need to, excuse my dear Aunt Sally, if they need to skip over one, they can, or if it is just to control the order in which they're going so that they'll understand what's coming first, what's coming second, and what's coming last. I advise them to write that almost sheet on their paper. So let's try one. I'm going to do a longer one first so that you can see. So let's say we have 5 times parentheses 12 2 times 5 plus 36 divided by parentheses 10 minus 6. Oh, I'm running out of space. Plus 2. See if I can squeeze this plus 2. Alright, so I've got 2 different parentheses, which will be the first. I do have a parentheses, so I do a check. So parentheses would be this one and this one. So I must evaluate those 2 first. So within the first parentheses, because it doesn't matter which parentheses that they do first. Once they see that there's a parentheses, they just have to know that they must start with that first. Even though, and a lot of kids kept saying, well, Ms.Chance, there's a multiplication sign, which multiplication comes before a subtraction, but again, you want to remind them that everything in the parentheses trump everything out of the parentheses. So you want to do whatever operations that you have in your parentheses first. Now, what you want to do is you want to still follow the order of operations even within the parentheses. So if I have my 2 operations being subtraction and multiply, then students have to know which one to do first. So if I look at, please excuse my dear Sally, or the order of operations, multiplication and division is there. And remember that I told you want to do it from left to right. So left to right will be just the same way you read, look when you're reading. If this was words, I would read from my left to my right. So the first operation that I came into, though, was multiplying, which was before subtraction. You see that? Multiplying comes before subtraction. Even though these are from left to right, multiplication and division trumps subtraction. So I teach them to write a caret, and then that helps control your work. So 2 times 5 would be 10. And then I tell them to drop everything else down. So I'm dropping this plus 36 divided by 10 minus 6 plus 2. Got a little bit more space to write down. Okay. Now I'm still dealing with this first parenthesis, so I'll turn it blue again. So the only operation though now I have is subtraction. So I'm going to draw a caret and evaluate this. 12 minus 10 is going to leave me 2, which means that I've done every operation inside of my bracket. I no longer have brackets. So then I drop down everything else that I did not touch. So I did not touch the 5 times, and I did not touch the plus 36 divided by 10 minus 6 plus 2. But I do have another parentheses. So I'll color that blue. And before I do any of this, I have to handle that parentheses. So I do have 2 operations, which is subtracting and adding, which again, that's from left to right, the way you read. So subtraction came before adding is the reason why. A lot of kids like to do the addition first, but they have to know that they cannot add first before they subtract. So I'm going to do my caret. And then I will do the subtraction, which will leave 10 minus 6 will leave me 4. And then I will drop down everything else, including the parentheses, until I'm done with all my operations. And anything that was in the front, I do not change. It's almost dropping down as I go, piece by piece. I still have another parentheses, so I'm going to continue to evaluate that, which 4 plus 2 is going to give them 6. Now I no longer have any brackets because I did the last operation within the bracket. I'm dropping down my division, my 36, the plus, the 2, the times, and the 5. Now I'm dealing with no parentheses. I've finished my parentheses. Finished. Now I see, do I have any exponents? I don't have any exponents. So then I go, I have multiplication or do I have division? I do. So as if I'm reading this, if this was reading, I would hit multiplication first. Multiplication will be my first stop. So, I'm trying to find a marker. I'm going to hit multiplication first because it came first. I do have multiplication. So then I would say, I draw my carets. And then I say 5 times 2, which will give me the product of 10. Drop everything else down. And then I've done multiplication. Now I hit division because division comes before addition. I can't skip my rules. So then I go down to division, which this is my division. The caret, I'll keep it red so we can see this. 6 divided by 36, you want to make them use repeated addition, or they can either use the cannonball method to help them evaluate this. It will be 6, but again, if you have students that would not know that, you can definitely add 6. Use the T-chart, which they all should know about the T-chart, and just add until they get close to 36. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 6 will be 36. So this will be the winning guy. That's how I got this 6. So now I got 6. I drop down everything else, which would be 10. And then I would evaluate my last. I'm trying to find a different color. Last factors, which would be 10 plus 6, which will give me the result of, let's do this red, and then we'll do this plus sign because the plus was the last operation, but also because that's when we did it, and then that would have gave us an answer of 16. Hopefully this was helpful.